I don't believe in science. When it comes to the spy game, to me, it's all instinct.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Basil.
The results are in. We've discovered trace elements of a rare vegetable found only on one island here in the Caribbean.
Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean, Basil?
Hello, my name is Chris Race, and I've been asked to do a video on what life means to an atheist, or as I prefer to be called, a skeptic. Personally, I find the meaning of life to be understanding the world around us and acting in ways that promote understanding about the world around us to teach other people. We're in this gigantic, beautiful, awe-inspiring universe, and I think if we were meant to do anything, or if we just choose to make it our purpose, that the meaning of life is to understand the world around us and to use that understanding in positive ways that benefit humanity. I guess if I had to say I had a sort of religious experience, I think that would be listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson really does a great job of summing up just how important it is to understand the universe around us and how deeply meaningful that can be.
Recognize that the very molecules that make up your body, the atoms that construct the molecules, are traceable to the crucibles that were once the centers of high-mass stars that exploded their chemically enriched guts into the galaxy, enriching pristine gas clouds with the chemistry of life, so that we're all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, and to the rest of the universe atomically. That's kind of cool. That makes me smile. And I actually feel quite large at the end of that. It's not that we are better than the universe, we're part of the universe. We're in the universe, and the universe is in us.
And there's no deeper meaning I could think of. So I guess if I had to explain to a religious person who believes that God gives their life meaning and works to understand their religion and their holy books and try to interpret God's meaning, I guess the translation for me would be God is the universe. All right? Now, the universe isn't really a personality. It's not a sentient sort of being like most people imagine a God. But I seek to understand it. So, in a way, it's almost a religious experience. But it's one that's based in experimentation, in science, and one that grows with time. And I can't think of anything more beautiful than a belief that grows with time. Religious doctrine doesn't change. It's more or less the same. But the universe, as we discover more and more about it, the more interesting it becomes. And I think that's a spiritual experience. And it gives my life meaning. And I get asked this question a lot, particularly by religious people, but also by people who aren't religious. Well, if you don't believe anything, well, how does life have meaning? And I really don't buy it, and I really don't get it. First of all, I don't understand why life needs to have meaning for people to function and enjoy life as is. But even so, I think that there are things that give life meaning beyond the supernatural. And I think that that can be very easily proven. You go up to anybody on the street and you say, what gives your life meaning? I will bet that maybe 1 in 10, probably less, will answer God. And that's it. Almost certainly everyone you ask is going to say, God and my family and my country and my job, and helping out others, all these things give my life meaning. Well, all those things were in reality. And I understand a religious person is going to say, well, God made all that possible. Hey, that's fine. All right? But at the very least, we can all agree that there is a certain amount of meaning to be found in helping people, in family, in our work. So I think that to say that an atheist can't find meaning in life is a ridiculous statement, because frankly, theists of all sorts don't just find meaning in God for the most part. They find meaning in other things as well. And I think that, so where does this all come from? Well, every biological organism has its nature, right? You know, its nature has kind of been bred into it over time, and certain behaviors have been selected for or against. Now, I mean, anyone can see that with like a cat. A cat has a natural urge to play and chase things and do stuff like that. It's part of the cat's nature, all right? Part of human nature is that we ourselves are pattern-seeking animals. We do not accept random phenomena. Throw your MP3 player in there. 900 songs on there. You just got a new album. All right? You put it on random because you kind of threw with the album a little bit, and all of a sudden, it plays 3 songs in a row from that album. I'll bet you half of us, half of us would get up and check out the MP3 player, make sure we didn't forget to turn the random feature on. All right, because we can't accept that when things are random, you expect to find clusters. All right, I think because something's random doesn't mean it's all spread out all nice and even like everyone wants to believe. All right, when something's random, you expect clusters here, clusters there, huge droughts there. All right, and this really, a good example of where this happens is a gambler. Gamblers think they're on a lucky streak or their luck is about to change, and their randomness of the games they play supports that hypothesis in their brain. All right, you play roulette, you lose a bunch of times. Now all of a sudden you win 4 times in a row, and you think there's a pattern there. I'm bound to win. This is a guaranteed win now. And so what they're really doing is they're chasing patterns that don't exist. And they're thinking that there's something behind those patterns, that there's some sort of meaning behind those patterns. Now, some might think that there's some sort of religious meaning behind it, but I think most people will just think that the meaning is simply that this means I'm bound to win. This means I should stop. That one really happens. This one means that I got to keep going through my rut before I get to the big money. So we're pattern-seeking creatures. And I think that really comes out in this video right here.
Whoa, that's a full rainbow. All the way. Double rainbow. Oh my God.
Too much! Tell me what it means.
To him, this is an event like no other. It is unexplainable. It is inexplicable. All right, there must be some sort of meaning behind it. Just like the gambler who wins 8 times in a row, that doesn't happen by chance. Well, it does, but it doesn't happen by chance. So I must be lucky. All right, this person sees a double rainbow for the first time. He's in tears, he's going crazy, and he stops and he says, what does it mean? What does it mean? He's looking for a meaning, and that's how we perceive the world. So why would it be any different when we look around the world and we say, this world is beautiful, I'm awe-inspired by it? There must be something behind it. There must be some meaning. What could that meaning be? Just a thought. So why can't we accept random stuff? Well, here's why. All right, let's pretend there are 2 people. One person looks for patterns, and the other one essentially accepts most things as random. Now, it's important to know when berries grow. Berries don't grow at random. They grow in season, all right? It's important to know when droughts come. It's important to know when beasts migrate. And these things are all pattern-based. They're not random. So if you thought they were random, you would die out very quickly. So our brains are geared toward being random. Every year, there's a rock, paper, scissors contest. Or maybe it's every couple of years. And computers always lose, by the way. Because the game is to try to guess the motivation of your opponent and what they're going to do. is considered the power move because it's a rock. It's a psychological power. It's no powerful than any other move. Paper is considered the passive move. All right, and scissors is considered the clever move. All right, because most people, especially beginners, lead rock. All right, so you try to outsmart them by leading paper. All right, but if you're clever, the clever move is scissors. So human beings attach meaning behind those objects. And so when they're playing, there's a motivation behind everything they do. There's always a motivation behind something somebody does. Unless they're drugged up or there's something seriously, some special circumstance, there is a motivation. Nothing a person does is completely random. And so what is meaning in life? Well, meaning is really the search for patterns that don't exist. Not to be rude about it to anybody, but that doesn't mean life doesn't have to have meaning. There's no one thing that you can't go, hey, you know what? The purpose of my life is to blank, and follow that, and set a goal for yourself. For some people, the purpose of their life is to follow God. Okay, so God gives their life meaning. It doesn't mean that nobody else can find meaning in something else. And I think that's where the arrogance of atheists comes into play when they're talking down to atheists about meaning. Now, atheists can have meaning. My meaning is to make the world a better place than when I left it. When I die, probably no one's going to remember my name. Maybe somebody will watch my YouTube videos as a history experiment. All right? So when I die, I'm probably not going to leave a lot behind, except for the positive relationships I helped with. I helped my students. I helped my parents. I've helped everyone around me in some way. You touched the lives of people around you. All right? And when you're dead, what you've changed inside of them, what you've helped them to think about, changes who they are as a person. And that gets passed down. Who was the first person to brew beer? No one knows. Who was the first person to brew coffee? No one knows. What's their legacy? That's an important question. Did their lives have less meaning or more meaning than any of ours? I don't think so. And that's pretty much where I stand on the subject of meaning.
When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all.